Hey guys, this is John. It is 2:45, and I just had to record some of this. Just pretty amazing stuff that's going on here. So, as you guys know, the numbers came out, the FOMC. We came down, erased all of the day's gains, and now we've been working our way higher. And it's just been, it's been a pretty amazing rally. Here's just right now, just 10 lots, 10 contracts on the Russell. It's up 17 points. It's pretty amazing. At this point, I'm actually betting that we get short covering to the close. If we take out 1150, we're going straight to 1175. I don't think we go to 1175 today, but stranger things have happened. But we should hit that tomorrow at this rate. This is Apple right here, in case you're wondering. That's the high of the day on Apple. That line represents. Ticks just got to plus 1400. You can see we're at the highs of the day, and now just waiting to see if we can push through this, and we will. And then it's just a matter of looking at the short covering from there. Look at this, is insane. In fact, I should just buy more S&Ps apparently, because we're going higher. So I'm just recording this. I have no plan here. I'm just managing my trades. I cannot cram them all into one window here, but just for posterity's sake. And by the way, the main thing that we were looking for the rally today was the VIX. Remember, the VIX has been outside those Bollinger Bands, and when it gets that extreme, you got to be really careful on the short side, and this is why. And we've still got 16 minutes left for the cash session, another 15 minutes left for the future session, and we've got another 10 points upside here, I think. So let's see here how this plays out. Ticks are insane. 1,400 ticks. I've not seen ticks that high in a long time. This is called a short covering slaughter. And we've got Lady Gaga on the background instead of CNBC. Notice there is no CNBC noise. We have not watched it all day long. You can see the Russell here now is up from an entry of essentially 55. We're at 677 and still going here. I think now is when we actually get the short covering, so this could get kind of crazy. Apple. So we just came at the highs of the day on Apple, so it's logical that it's going to come off a little bit here. You can see the ticks here. The only concern I'd have is if the ticks went below zero, but you can see they're pulling back to like 1,000. It's insane. Wow. I'd hate to be short right now. Because somebody got short down here and panicked, and now they're just like, God, I don't understand. You didn't get short, right, Henry?
I did not.
Okay.
That's like what happened.
I have not seen this in so long. So the ticks are pulling back to 1,000 as support. I don't think there's any for this play. I'm just holding on to it until 3:15, and I may hold it overnight. I don't think there's no resistance right now till 1175. So at this point, bears are going to cover right up to that level.
What was your entry?
On which market?
In the S&P.
S&P. So S&P was a little bit different story. I was actually long earlier today and got stopped out on the S&P and had a loss on that first trade of 15,000. And this other one I've kind of averaged into, and so the average price is 1140, and my target on this is 1175. And then I haven't traded the Dow in a while, but I thought, the more the merrier. And picked up some Dow contracts. You can see how thin it is, but once we, I got in at 10,907. But if we can get back up through 11,000, there's upside now for another 150 points. So it's just kind of watching here now. So here's the first kind of pullback. You can see we're pulling back here to about minus 600. Now, I'm sorry, not minus 600. I'm so used to seeing minuses to plus 600. So you can see that's where you want to see where support is. And then if we bounce off of that, I really just don't want to see us hang around below zero. If we get that, then we're going to get a pretty steep sell-off, and I'm going to want to start taking profits. But in terms of holding on to my current position, if we come down here and bounce, there is no reason to get out of this trade. You just sit on your hands and see what the market wants to do. Isn't that right, Rosa? Rosa sitting next to us just going, oh my God. She's not interested in trading, but she did buy 10 ounces of gold at $694 an ounce, and she still has most of that. She only had to hawk one coin to me. So you can see we're just kind of quietly consolidating here as we're hanging out at like 1,000 ticks. All right, so this is what I really want to see if there's some serious selling that's going to come in this market. I doubt it, just because, you know, if you're this 1150 was a big level. This line represents the high of the day, and if you're short, you're just pulling your freaking eyeballs out right now. And you're hoping for a decline. If you don't get it, you're just going to have to cover into the close. And then Apple's eking out new highs on the day. See if we can do it. So this will be an interesting close. I'm long, so I would actually like to see the markets rip into the close here even more. But I am looking for 1175, and whether it gets hit. If it doesn't get hit, you know, today, which I'd be surprised if we got that much of a rally. Look for it early tomorrow. But what happens is when, like, bears at this point, you know, kind of said, well, we're throwing in the towel at 1150, let's make our next stand, and the next stand is 1175. That's just the next major resistance level. So at this point, they're just going to cover right up to that level. You know, there'll be some jockeying back and forth, and of course, longs here will take some profits. The key, though, is just watch the ticks. You know, you can see we're actually got some serious selling here. And I really just don't want to start seeing it come into the minus 400 level or anything like that. That's going to tell me that it's like, you know what, wow, there's maybe something bigger going on here, and we could flush into the close. But if we come down to like plus 300 and bounce, we're going nowhere but up. There goes Apple, new highs on the day. That's at 370.50 right now. So we're just kind of consolidating here. It's 250. We got 10 minutes. There we go. So here's those 10 lots on the Russell. Now up 29 points, so 290 ticks. Again, it's tempting here to want to take profits, but there's no reason to. You just ride this horse until it dies. So here's the S&Ps. So same thing, remember, there's no really resistance to 1175, and at this point there's no sell signals at all. So don't get me wrong, I don't want to, you know, I have no plans to let this turn into a loss by any means. I'm just watching the ticks. As long as the ticks are staying above zero, I'm not selling anything. I'm not selling anything. I should just buy more Russell. I think the short covering now is going to get vicious, wicked smart. I'm getting a little cautious now because I'm getting a little. I'm hearing my voice. I'm getting a little overconfident. So I'm really just trying to watch the ticks. It's good to be overconfident on a date, but not in a trade. Not that I've been on a date for a long time. So here, I'll just put the Russell here. Still got the 10 contracts. I'm kind of keep an eye on that too. Well, there's not enough room. I'd rather watch Apple. Good God. It almost makes me angry at anybody here who's still short. Like if somebody shorted right here and is still just holding on, because you know there's people out there doing that, it almost makes you upset for them. No, never mind. I'm good. I mean, here again, 10 contracts on the Russell now are up $37,000. It's just craziness. S&Ps now we're up $76,000 on 60 contracts. And by the way, I started off with 10 contracts at 11. Oh God, like 11.10, and I added to it as it went my way. And then even the Dow, no liquidity in the Dow, is working in my favor. And look at the volume spike here. 40,000 contracts in 1 minute. This is complete and utter panic now. And we've still got 2 minutes in the cash session, and then we got the futures session left. Good God. Look at the, oh, I guess we're almost closed. Look how much volume's coming through right now. 66,000 contracts, 68,000, 69,000, 73,000. Holy crap. All right, now I got to actually be a little careful because this just could either collapse or keep going. This is where I really got to be careful, especially with the Dow. In fact, the Dow, the thing is if we just keep going, like with the Dow, you know, illiquidity is your best friend. So this is where I actually got to be real careful. Illiquidity is your best friend when it's going your way. If we start to roll over, we could actually come down pretty good. I would expect we actually get more short covering.
So now that you don't have the ticks to watch, what do you?
Oh, okay, good question. So let's just get rid of these. Now it's just pure price action. In fact, when you get a situation like this, you can watch the tape. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't totally help. I mean, honestly, I mean, Hubert really likes to look at it, but it's more just kind of, you know, because it's fun to watch, kind of a thing. So let's do that, and we'll just kind of bring this over here. We don't need to see. We just need to see that. And so we're actually coming off a little bit here, and I'm not really willing to hold through a major pullback here. So I got a man up here, and it's like, okay, so the high is 1171.75. So if we can get through 1171.75, we'll hit 1175 here today, which I know earlier said I didn't think it would happen today, but so the Russell, okay, let's take a look here. So the Russell is still moving higher. Again, 10 contracts. Now we're up 40 points. Being a little bit careful here. The only one I'm really concerned about here because of liquidity issues is the Dow. Is if it goes our way, that's great. Then the Dow is just going to pop up. But if it starts to fall, it's actually going to be hard to get out of. So I need to be a little careful. I've obviously got some cushion though. And then for the S&Ps, obviously the liquidity here, I can just hit flat and then I'm out. So let's just see now. We're just watching to see if we can take out the high. And the high was 1171.75. So we can watch the tape here and see if we can get close to that level, what happens. And part of this here is I don't want to be a dick for a tick. I mean, 1175 was my target, right? So we're getting close. So I'm really just watching here just to see, you know, are we going to get one more? So if you're still short and you're holding on here, you're thinking, okay, maybe we'll sell off after hours. And if that last bastion of hope is ripped from their hands, then, you know, we keep going higher. And did I mention that we'll be doing a live trading webinar next week? So, okay, Henry, so if these were your positions, what would you do right now?
I'd start peeling off the Dow because, like you said,
Liquidity,
and since you've got 3 different contracts you're trading, I would get that one out of the way and then focus on your, which obviously your S&P is the biggest one. So
that makes sense. That's actually good feedback. Let's do 510. I'm assuming it's going to rally, so that might be a false assumption. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. There. So there's 30 contracts. So if the Dow bumps up, we'll see if we can get peeled out of those. And I'm good. I'm doing a service here because there are people trapped short, and I'm allowing them.
It's awfully kind of you.
That liquidity.
Oh.
It's gone. It's
yeah,
just.
I would say you're going to get those fills now that you've traded through it.
God, Henry, I could have made so much more money had I just stayed in.
It's true.
So at this point, what I'll do is actually just put on a stop. There's no reason to have to worry about, some institution or something comes in and does some massive selling. So let's come down to, right below support here, about 1165. Ooh, I don't go that low, 67. So let's go, right in here. Well, let me ask you, Henry, what would you do?
At first, I'd probably throw the TTM trend on the one.
You know, when it started selling off, the second I said, "Never my first $100,000 day trade," bam.
Well, yeah. But did you? I mean, would you have the TTM trend on that 1 minute chart? It might help.
You know, after hours like this, it's just more. You're really just looking at like volume and stuff like that too.
Volume and price action.
Yeah. So I'm going to put on at least. Oops. Well, 10 lots is not going to help. Let's put in a hard stop here. So now we've at least got that covered, and then we'll just see if that can go. And then, in fact, let's do, I'm just going to leave it open. So we'll either get stopped out or we're going to get out at 314. And then let's take a look at the Russell here. The Russell really hasn't actually moved much. Let me see here. Let's stretch this out a little bit. And let's get a target on this one. So we're at 693.20, 694. So let's try 695.20, 695.30 for 10 lots. We'll see if that can get hit. And then we'll also keep an eye on the S&Ps here. Wow, it's just hard to. Oh, duh. Let's do that. I don't know if that's really visible or not. And I actually kind of want to watch the tape here. So I'm going to scrunch this up so we can at least see what's going on in there in the Russell. Then we can at least see if it's going up there. And then, well, S&Ps will know what's going to happen. Let me find the tape again. Well, let's just watch the tape for a second. All right, so it looks like, well, at this point, it looks like we maybe get stopped out here at 68.75. Notice I'm not going to remove my stop. If I get stopped out, that's totally fine. In hindsight, I will say my error here, if there was an error, is I actually said a couple of times 1175 was a target, and we actually got there. So technically, I probably should have taken profits, but I think the logic for staying in it was fine too. But that was just a big spike right up to that level. And let's go back and look at the tape.
So now would you prefer to hold the entire thing into the close or start setting targets at that previous high?
Okay, so that's a good question. At this point, I'm just going to keep this, and then I'm either going to get stopped out or I'm going to get out at 314. And the reason for that, and let's get the time here, is that just if we get one more bout of short covering into the close, it could just take us, we could go out the dead highs. And so my thought with that is that if people are short, they're just going to be feeling, they're just, you know, maybe they saw this and said, oh my God, we're going to, you know, but they're going to have to throw in the towel. There's going to be a lot of angry people here, and that could actually get one last push up. So that's my thought there. But it does seem to be slowing down. In fact, the Russell's kind of now taking a hit. So you can see the Russell here is actually selling off pretty decently. So I had a target up there at 695. Russell's selling off here. So I'll place a stop on this as well. And let's give it a little bit of room there. And the target's still up at that 695 level. Now we just see where we close. And remember the high of the day, well now that's 1175.50. So now we just kind of see if we're able to get back there again. It really looks like that we're just kind of quieting down. So if we do get anything, it'll be the, oh, well, we're already in the last few minutes. And the Russell does stay open a little bit longer, but I mean, I got stuff to do. one question would be is, to hold on overnight. And it's actually not a bad idea, except 1175 is a key level, so my plan is to be flat, and then if we do gap down in the morning, to actually buy it. So we are doing a whole lot of nothing here. So I'm going to, over here on the S&Ps, is actually move my stop up. I want to lock in 69, up to 69. And then you know what? I want to lock in 1170. And there we go. So I'm out there. So out 5 points from my target. And again, in retrospect, I should have sold that and got out, but it's important to forgive yourself. And it looks like I'm going to get stopped out here as well. And I need to be careful. We're at, okay, 311. So on the Russell here, wow. Let's just move this over here. I'm just looking at the time. Now the Russell actually stays open a little bit longer, so I'm not as concerned about it. I'm kind of curious to see how it goes here. In fact, let's bring up the Russell. And I just got stopped, so it's a moot point. All right, so 10 contracts on the Russell, good for 35 points. S&Ps, I scaled into 60 contracts. My first trade on the S&Ps was a loss for 15,000. Then made that up and netted 72. And then on the Dow, that was actually the best one because Henry got me out at the dead highs, and that was good. And then so cumulative P&L on the day, and everybody's asked, is that a demo account or is it a real account? If it's demo, it'll actually say sim up there. That is my real account. So good for $141,337. So the funny thing is that I've actually told Henry a couple weeks ago that I was stopping trading so I could finish my book, and I've been, it's of course and yesterday I had to take a couple of trades, and then today I was just like, this is with the VIX. Up 2 days in a row like that, that's just the opportunity. But what's interesting like that is when you do stuff like that is you actually only end up taking the really, really good trades. So it says something about not having to stare at the charts all the time. All right. Well, I'm going to pause this. Obviously, there's going to be some more updates to come, but hopefully you enjoyed it. Okay, so that's the trading. Again, just as a reminder, we do have a live trading webinar coming up on the 17th and 18th, and there'll be a bonus day on Friday, the 19th, actually, so it's going to be 2.5 days where I just focus on options. But again, this is going to be the live trading stuff that Hubert and I are focused on, okay, so kind of like what you just saw, and that's what we're going to be focusing on. We are limiting this to 200 people, okay? After 200 people sign up, it is going to be sold out. So we've already got, actually a lot of people that have already signed up, but if you guys want to jump in and take a look, there's the information for you. All right, you guys have good trading, and we'll see you at the next update.